Richard Pryor used to say he didn't mind when his girlfriends left him. He just didn't like it when they told him why. Well, I think we sometimes have the opposite problem here. We document all these episodes of large-scale black mob violence, and a lot of times people, the property owners or the neighbors are trying to explain to us, this never happens, it's isolated, it's random, and whatever you do say, Colin, it has nothing to do with race. So what we like here, we encourage reporters here to put these events in context, remind people what happened a month before, a year before, see if it fits a pattern. More often than not, way more often than not, it fits a pattern. That's what we found in Buckland Hills Mall up in the other day, a couple days ago in Manchester, Connecticut. Large-scale episode of black mob violence, destroying property, attacking police, the whole business. Here's where it gets interesting. The reporter actually reminded us this wasn't the first time this has happened recently, and they reminded us what happened back in December. So we're going to see that video too. And in the video from December, they're going to remind us, oh yeah, this wasn't the first time either. This happened last year at the same time. So let's go up to Buckland Hills Mall, scene of large-scale black mob violence, and let's see what we see.
5 teenagers are facing charges this morning after a series of fights that broke out at the shops at Buckland Hills in Manchester. Multiple police departments had to be called in to help break everything up. One officer was even assaulted during one of those arrests, but fortunately, no one was seriously hurt, and that mall stayed open. You'll remember this comes just months after hundreds of people were involved in a fight in the mall just after Christmas, forcing it to close.
Buckland Hills Mall evacuated and closed after a mob of people start brawling.
And that wasn't the only mall that had to shut down its doors this evening. So did Connecticut Post Mall. I'll share how police say there wasn't just only one disturbance, but multiple ones for most of the afternoon.
First, right now, though, we start with that breaking news tonight. Chaos at not one but 2 malls here in Connecticut. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us right now. I'm Mark Zinni. Malls in Manchester and Milford had to be evacuated after large fights broke out inside. We have team coverage right now from both scenes. Channel 3's Shantae Passmore is live at the Connecticut Post Mall in Milford, but we start right now in Manchester, which was put into lockdown first. Channel 3's Matthew Campbell is there right now with more from Buckland Hills. Matthew?
Well, Mark, police say between 50 and 200 people were brawling here tonight, and this really caused a lot of panic amongst the innocent shoppers out here. And these large fights actually triggered panic at stores off mall property as well.
The amount of the crowd that was around it was ridiculous. I thought the second floor was going to fall down.
This is a look inside the chaos that erupted inside the Buckland Hills Mall in Manchester around 6 tonight. Brandon Wasilis was right in the middle of it.
There were massive amounts of cops, everyone running in. Hey, you better get out of here, you're going to get arrested.
Police say 50 to 200 people started fighting near Forever 21. The brawls then spread to other areas of the mall, triggering an evacuation.
And all of the doors were being shut for the different businesses. They're like, get out of here or everyone's getting arrested.
Eyewitnesses say the mall was packed with teens, but also families on this day after Christmas. All were caught in this near stampede that was captured by an eyewitness and posted on YouTube.
There was a couple of couples handcuffed on the ground with cops on their backs with their knees.
In all, police say 4 people, 3 adults and 1 juvenile, were arrested. Names, ages, and charges are still not being released. But once the violence ended in the mall, stores across the street were put on high alert, wanting to avoid any violence spilling over. Target evacuated and closed, and there was a large police presence at Walmart after fights broke out there.
Over by Dave & Buster's, towards Walmart. And it took us a while to really realize the extent of how many people were involved.
Police are scouring social media to see if this was a pre-planned brawl similar to what happened here 2 years ago. It conjures scary memories for those who lived through it then.
It was just like the same thing that happened then.
What's happening?
I don't know. It's crazy out here.
You know, the hardest thing for us to do around here is every once in a while just to stop, do a memory wipe, and try to approach this material as fresh as we can. So we see a large-scale episode of black mob violence at Buckland Hills Mall just the other day. Attacking cops. That to me is a line. If you're attacking cops, a whole bunch of people, you crossed the line, a big line.
Please, sir. I want some more.
And the hardest thing is for us to look at it as if we've never seen that before and to say, wow, that is really weird, and it's not normal, and it's not something we should ever think of as normal. And we see this stuff in malls around the country a lot. We just did another mall story. I posted it. When you see this, it was yesterday I posted it. So many stories of black mob violence in malls. And again, we're always sitting here going, hey, if the white kids are doing this, if the Asian kids are doing this, if the Hispanic kids are doing this, would you please send me the videos so we can all go back to doing what we were doing before we started documenting this ridiculous level of black violence, wildly out of proportion? Down in Brooklyn today, the DA had a big press conference. I couldn't even read more than a couple paragraphs of this. Sometimes I just can't read. I just can't do it. But I read the first couple paragraphs, and the district attorney in Brooklyn is talking about all these reforms he's going to make. He's going to hire ex-cons, and he's going to do this, he's going to do that, because of the over-incarceration that particularly affects the people of color in Brooklyn. Again, it keeps begging the question. So either the cops are picking on the fellas in Brooklyn, or the fellas are acting violently, wildly out of proportion. If the cops are picking on the fellas and arresting them for no reason whatsoever, then let's get some lawyers, and there's cameras all over the damn place. Let's get them the hell out of jail if they're in there. But if they're in there because a prosecutor and a jury and a judge put them there for good reason, why would you want to let them out earlier? Where is anybody talking about the victims? Why all this attention paid to the people who are ruining lives, ruining neighborhoods? Yeah, they ruin their own lives. I don't care. That's way down the list. Yeah, we have a DA going, oh, we got to get these people back into our community. Think of all the resources we're losing. That's mental illness. That's a sickness, to focus on the perpetrator and ignore the victims. Unless, of course, you happen to think the perpetrators are victims. Bingo! Nobody ever got fired from the criminal justice system in this country by treating a black person who's a perpetrator as a victim. That's how everybody's rolling now. That's how they're rolling. The DAs are very explicit. That's how they're rolling, and not just Brooklyn, in Boston, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Chicago, St. Louis, on and on and on. It's now kind of like it just kind of morphed into that. Over-incarceration. They're making up words as they go along. Too many black people in prison for no reason whatsoever. Let's let them out. Apparently, that's just about the best way in this country not to make the black kids angry.